In 1972, Pennsylvania was hit by Hurricane Agnes, suffering immense damage in the flood that resulted. By some, it is still considered to be the Keystone State's worst natural disaster, but in places like Columbia County, the title has been lost. The rapid succession of Hurricane Irene and Tropical Storm Lee devastated Pennsylvania with storms and floods. The Susquehanna River crested at historic levels in towns like Bloomsburg, which hadn't seen waters this high since 1904. The flooding was not completely sudden, though it may seem that way to its victims. While Pine Grove and other areas were hit rapidly and without warning on the morning of September 7th, there were towns that had almost an entire day before the water levels reached flood stage. But by the next morning, there was no escaping the river. Creeks and streams had also overflowed their banks. Highways and interstates were shut down. Schools were closed because they became shelters, and towns declared a state of emergency. Residents closer to the river were advised to leave their homes, but not everybody listened to the warnings to evacuate their houses. Fire departments were utilized to rescue people out of their flooded homes on Friday morning, and even some had to be airlifted from their roofs to escape. But for the places where the flood had struck early, the waters were beginning to recede, and the damages became apparent. Roads were shattered or blocked by fallen trees. Houses were deemed unlivable for the time being, as people tossed their ruined belongings outside. Some buildings were lifted from their foundations and moved by the force of the water. On September 16th, the United States government declared the flood of 2011 was a natural disaster, and the Federal Emergency Management Agency, known as FEMA, began to take count of all the damages suffered. Pennsylvania is still trying to recover, and the excessive rain we've been experiencing has not helped. Thank you to all who contributed photos.